Okay, everybody. Today we have Dr. Adam Harrison with us. Hi, Adam.
Hi, Mary. How are you?
How are you?
Yeah, very well. Thank you. Very well. Thanks for having me.
A little bird told me you had a big day today. Tell us the story of your big day today.
Oh my gosh. Yes. So for people that don't know, Mary and I are in a business school for physician entrepreneurs, and we have our amazing founder, Dr. Una. She has a podcast called the Entre MD podcast, and I've been listening to it for about a year now, just over a year. And I guested on her podcast this morning, and I'm just, still kind of bit in shock, really.
I know, that's so exciting. It's so exciting.
Really surreal.
Can you give us a hint? What was the topic? A hint?
Yeah, it was called The Business of Coaching.
Oh, nice. Nice. Yeah.
Yeah. And it kind of centered around, kind of getting up, getting started with your business and that kind of thing. And just, saying yes to things and being opportunistic and networking and collaborating and all of that. Crazy in 12 months to think that I've gone from being a listener to a guest.
Isn't that wild? Yeah.
Phenomenal progress. Yeah.
So, I think as coaches, we're both physician coaches, and we meet a lot of folks that would say they're stuck. Like they don't see any way out, they're in a box, stuck. And so what can we tell them about, like, how would you start? That's a great story. First of all, just that story is a great way to start. But what would you say, as a coach, like how can we help people get unstuck? That's such a common one.
Yeah. I'd just say, firstly, if I can do this, then anyone can. Right. And it's all about mindset. And I think I've been probably slightly different to a lot of physicians over the years, in that I started networking on LinkedIn probably about 10 years ago.
Okay.
And always use that as my kind of preferred platform to, approach people, connect with people, and then just reach out to them and just say, this is me, I have these skills, can I help you in your organization or whatever? And, most of the time you draw a blank, but occasionally amazing things happen like this. So
right.
I would just say, develop a sort of can-do attitude, that kind of mindset, right. and put yourself out there, be prepared for the rejections.
Right.
And just take them on the chin.
You just have to find someone. You try to find someone that needs you. Yeah, that's right.
Absolutely.
Services.
But you have to be opportunistic, So, these things are not gonna come to you. And that's not a natural disposition for physicians,
I think that's right.
To act like that.
Yeah, that is true. And how did you get the skills of, being a physician and a lawyer? So what made you combine those skills?
Again, I think it was purely I had an interest. When I was a very junior doctor, I had attendings who did expert witness work, and they would tell us these really interesting stories, and that kind of piqued my interest. And then I thought, I want to do that. But initially, I still had so much debt from med school to be able to go and start another degree, at uni. So in the UK, we have these things called medical defense organizations. So they provide your indemnity, your insurance, but also they help doctors who have complaints by patients. So responding to written complaints. And if you have disciplinary issues with your regulator or things like that. So it was a very medical legal role. And they employed doctors to help doctors. That was their marketing thing, doctors for doctors. And it gave me that opportunity to do medical legal work without being legally qualified. But then it was such an interesting area, and you had to, when things got particularly fascinating, you handed them over to legal. And I just thought to myself, I want to do that. I want to be that side of the fence rather than handing it on.
Yeah.
So it was just an itch I had to scratch. But I guess that's the kind of person I am. That's my mindset. It's like, well, if you want to do it, you've got to go through the studies, et cetera, and just kind of crack on and do it. And you know, in the end, I didn't actually even practice law because our firstborn came along around the time that I qualified, and I couldn't financially afford to do it, and the hours would have been really long and so on, and I wanted to support my wife. So I used the law stuff to get into advisory roles, and that kind of opened doors, opportunities for leadership advancement came along. And that's how I ended up coaching, because I had leadership coaching when I was in a leadership role. And it was just like, this is just amazing.
Right.
It's just like just saying yes all the time, just seizing opportunities.
I think, keeping the open mind and going down like what interests you, I think is the key. Is like what I hear in your journey, you know, is that you want to know more about something, go toward it, you know, take a few steps. I mean, that's what Dr. Una always teaches us, right? You know, it's like, keep an open mind. You never know what connections you'll make. And, you know, I agree. Like one thing I love is just to meet new people with different areas of expertise and, you know, just see how their world is, because it makes it so much more exciting. That's awesome. So then you started coaching in a professional. Well, so you saw you had a coach. So that's how you saw the coaching role.
And I just had an epiphany, really, because, you know, I was, you know, in my early 40s, and my leadership coach made me do a task on your values, to fill out a survey, and then we discussed it. And, you know, we all know in our hearts what kind of guides us, you know, on a day-to-day basis, and what makes us do things or not do things. But to actually do a questionnaire and you kind of get some results, and it says these are your values to put into words. For me personally, that was really, really powerful, because then my life began to make a bit more sense. And I just thought, well, so maybe the clinician role that I was doing wasn't fulfilling, and it wasn't in alignment with my values. And I felt I could, you know, have more of an impact in the world, and you know, better outcomes for people that I serve as a coach than as a doctor. So the transition began. So
nice. And what are some coaching values, would you say?
Well, I could speak for myself, obviously. That my top 5 core values came out at fairness, justice, honesty, love, and humor. So I bring these things to my coaching practice. You know, I'm not a serious person, you know, but when I need to be, obviously, but you know, I like things to be done with a certain measure of, you know, lightheartedness. There's enough kind of serious stuff out there in the world, isn't there? You know, and you know, we're trying to brighten people's lives and be a positive beacon for people, and show them that, you know, moving forward, that if they achieve these goals, then their future is really bright and exciting. And so, you know, I try to do it in quite a light way.
That's great. Yeah, no, thanks for sharing that. Yeah. So what a day being on Dr. Una's podcast, Entre MD. That's so neat. Well, thanks for sharing that experience with us, Adam. And then we'll put in the notes how people can follow you, how they can, you know, connect with you on a, okay. And Clubhouse too, right? So we'll put it all in the show notes.
Thank you so much. Awesome. Yeah, definitely. Oh, thanks for having me.
Absolutely.